Did you know that you can cut your annual tax liability using the IRS's own tax codes? It's actually super easy. I saved $8,880 last year alone using this one simple yet effective technique. If you aren't using this technique, you're likely tipping the IRS, giving away your hard-earned money, and harming your legacy at the same time. See, I wasn't sure what to do. I had 2 opportunities to speak, but had limited bandwidth with my team. One event was called Baby Bathwater. The other was a dental convention in Boston. And they were within 24 hours of each other. So how would I get to both of these events? One on the west, one on the east. Well, my team would have to support the first event, and that would mean that they wouldn't really be able to attend the second one. Then I had this idea. Why not bring my kids? I mean, they can handle a red-eye flight. I'm not torturing my team. I got my kids doing this. They can sleep so easily on flights. We can even bond. They can carry books. They can pass them out. Maybe even introduce me on stage. Plus, they could earn money that would be, get this, tax-free. Yep, up to $12,000 tax-free. Even better, I'm the one on the account since they're minors, right? So I'm not just handing them money that they can blow. I can now allocate those dollars to building their own cash flow banking system, which is a way to put the money in pre-tax, have it grow tax-deferred, and there's ways to access that money tax-free whether they go to college or not. So, I wouldn't have to pay the tax now or later. You could do this with a Roth IRA, but there are certain restrictions to that. But now the key to the strategy comes down to first and foremost integrity. You actually have to hire your kids to do work that you're paying them for in order to get this tax break. Let me break it down into 3 simple parts for you, and even give you some ideas of what you could hire them for. 1, if you stand to the limit, they don't even have to file a tax return. This is normally what happens. You get to deduct their wages, and it will lower your tax bracket. The question really becomes, though, well, what would you hire them for? I wish I would have thought of this when my kids were really young. I didn't know how to pay them at 2 years old, but later realized they could be paid for modeling. Now, not normal models for my business, right? So I get that's probably not worth $12,000, no matter how cute I think they are, but it can easily be worth $2,500. Put them up on a site, have pictures at the office. As they get older, then you can actually put them to work. That's what I did. I missed the opportunity to have them model, which is something that if you have young enough kids, you might be able to do. What I've had them do is MC events multiple times and even introduce me. I've had them go through online courses so they could start a business. I had a lot of clients on Amazon, selling things on Amazon. So I got a course when I spoke at one of these events, and I said, all right, let's have them work on this research, because one of my clients talks about retail arbitrage. I'm like, I wonder what that is. So it was about starting a business with my oldest son at that point. My youngest son, I started to write this book on money for kids. Well, I needed to have feedback and editing and stories. Does it make sense to someone that age? And he's actually really creative when it comes to writing. Those are just a few ideas. Now, I've seen other of my clients have their kids clean the office and wash company cars. That's actually how I started my first business, Garrett Gunderson's Car Care, when I was 15 years old. It was my dad being a coal miner. I started washing the surface mine vehicles with him and get paid for that. Or you might have them update a CRM or customer lists or different data entry, working in the computer, or it could even be billings and accounts receivable, which I've seen happen with a lot of my doctor clients, or general errands that they're doing. And if they're under 16, these are ones that they can obviously do without having to drive. Or maybe they're even handing out flyers for something that's coming up, or updating social media accounts, or keeping you current on social media trends. I know if I want to know what's going on there, I turn to my 12 and 14-year-old, they know a lot more than I do. So the second thing to really simplify this is employing your kids provides other benefits, like responsibility. Your kids can learn to take responsibility and get paid for it. So this can increase their self-esteem. They learn the value of a hard day's work. They get certain skills that they could build, so they have these abilities that they could put into life and actually make some money doing them. Brainstorming, you can even get them coming up with ideas from their minds of ways that they can earn money. We have our kids invoice us. A lot of times we'll sit down and brainstorm, and we'll put it on lists of things that they might be able to do. What I think is even bigger is making sure they avoid entitlement. When they're working for their money, they understand the value of it. When it's just handed to them, well, they might not really recognize that. They could even learn entrepreneurship from a young age. Most of the greatest businessmen in the world were and are entrepreneurs and started a lot of times when they were really young. I think of my friend Rich Christensen. He had all of his kids become entrepreneurs before they were 16 years old. Some of them were 3 years old and showing how to tie ties or do zip ties, because they had a tie selling company in business online. to, one of his kids now has his own business, and I actually hire them to do certain online things and building sites for us. So there's a real opportunity for them to start understanding upside potential isn't just trading time for dollars, just working medial tasks in exchange for some money. But if they start to think, what can they do that's of value in the world? And what is it that other people are looking for? I mean, we see young kids out there, opening gifts, and they're in their, they're not even double digits yet. They're 9 and younger, and they're making millions of dollars because of the amount of traffic that comes to their YouTube videos. I was in Puerto Rico speaking, and there was a guy that his daughter just wanted to start YouTube videos, and he started helping her when she was 11 years old. Now he's holding all the Lego conventions and Minecraft conventions, filling up entire stadiums for this because of that type of an idea. Whether it's big or whether it's small, I think the small actions make a difference, and you can do this tax-free. So you want to go to wealthfactory.com/hiring your children. Wealthfactory.com/hiring your children is going to give you 32 ideas on what you can do to hire your kids. It'll show you how to navigate the reasonable wage and what records are actually required, the nuances of pay based upon what type of corporation you are. The third piece to this is it's really about setting up a separate bank account for the money to be deposited. You don't want it to commingle with your funds and just have the money be spent. You don't want to go straight into the kid's piggy bank, or I paid my son Roman the other day and he forgot to take the cash and put it somewhere, so strangely half of the money's gone, right? It's a big lesson for him. It's only $20, but at that age, I remember losing $20 and it was devastating to me. Have the kids, you can have them start paying for their own music lessons or sports things they're doing, or even airfare or clothes, or if they're old enough, maybe gym memberships or cell phones. This way they can know what things actually cost. I was watching some thing that Ellen was doing one day, and she had Bill Gates on, and they were saying, how much do these things cost? And he didn't know what the price of milk was, and he didn't know what the price of some certain basic things are, because that's been delegated. Now, he's pretty wealthy, so it's not that important for him to know. But I think it's important for kids to know so they appreciate what they have and can acknowledge it and know that it actually costs. Now, you can use cashflowbanking.com to make this even more powerful. I mentioned before, some people use Roth IRA accounts. They pay their kids. That's giving them a tax deduction. They put it in a Roth IRA, and then they can take that out tax-free at 59.5%, depending on what the rules are, right? Well, you could do this with cash flow banking. That's my preference. That's what I do with my kids. I pay them monthly, actually twice a month because they're on payroll, and it goes into their cash flow banking systems, which means we didn't have to pay tax because of the tax deduction paid to their tax rate, which is 0%, putting it into a plan that grows without taxes and that we can access before 59.5 if we want to help supplement, educational things, or the launch of a business, or the down payment on a home, or something where I'm matching what they're up to. This starts to create cash for them at a very early age. It's part of the Rockefeller method too, which is now they have a death benefit. That death benefit comes in tax-free when they die, and it could replenish the trust of which they could get benefits from, as far as our own family bank that could lend money and have payback requirements. But we know that some of those loans aren't going to work out. There's going to be certain economic turmoil. There's going to be certain lessons along the way, but we can replenish those trusts. There's other videos you can watch where I've talked about this. So look, you could put money in a Roth, like I mentioned. You can put money in cash flow banking. It really depends on how much insurance the parent has on their life. So if you don't have any insurance, maybe you can't get that much insurance on your kids. If you have a lot of insurance, you might be able to get a lot more insurance on your kids. So it really begins to go into cashflowbanking.com for yourself. But here's the deal. You can pay your kids. You can get tax advantages for it. You can make sure to capture that wealth. You can teach your kids personal and financial responsibility with what they're doing. They can be part of the process of brainstorming of some of the activities that they could do. And we have guides at Wealth Factory that can help you to determine what you can pay your kids for. Now, you know how to cut your annual tax liability using the IRS's own tax codes. I saved $8,888 last year alone using this one simple yet effective technique. By using this technique of hiring your kids, you can save thousands of dollars on your taxes, teach your kids valuable life lessons they'll cherish for years to come, and guess what? You now have the knowledge to transform your thoughts into profits and build the life you love. If you're looking for more on this topic, check out my video on paying less tax. You'll learn about value creation and effective methods of working with the tax code. I'll see you there.